Dozens of environmental and Indigenous rights advocates are facing charges after they were arrested in Minnesota over the weekend. They were demonstrating outside the governor's mansion in opposition to Line 3. It's a replacement oil pipeline set to run across rural northern Minnesota. Activist groups say that the project threatens the environment and violates Native American treaty rights. Last week, protesters descended on the Minnesota state capitol to call on the state's governor and President Biden to take action. So for more on this, I want to bring in Tara Houska. She's a tribal attorney and the founder of Giniw Collective, an Indigenous environmental activist group which actively opposes the pipeline. Thank you so much for joining us, Tara, because I think, a lot of people have, are not so much paying attention to the issues with pipeline expansions and Indigenous people. They probably don't even know about this if they don't live in the state. You've been on the front lines of this fight against this Line 3 pipeline. Talk to us about the implications of this project on the environment, specifically when it comes to Indigenous tribes, and why you're fighting against the project.
Sure. Good morning. So Line 3 is a nearly million barrel per day tar sands line coming out of Alberta. It has the emissions equivalent of 50 new coal-fired plants. It is a project that wants to send tar sands through the headwaters of the Mississippi River to the shore of Lake Superior, putting at risk over 80% of the world's, or of this area's waters down south of us, so everyone downstream. And as far as Indigenous rights go, this is a project that has been vehemently opposed by different tribal nations. 3 different tribal nations have actually been suing against this project since it was initially approved back in 2018. And as of late, it's been Indigenous people that are leading the charge on the ground, literally chaining ourselves to the machines to try to stop this awful project from going through our watersheds and through our treaty territory. So it's a long continuation of expanding fossil fuels in the face of climate crisis and disregarding and disrespecting Indigenous sovereignty.
So Enbridge is the company behind this, right? And they argue, listen, this is a replacement project. This will ensure that there will be the safe transport of oil. There had been an oil spill in the area in the early 90s. So, this is a pipeline that needs shoring up, that needs to be improved. Not to mention, several hundred Indigenous people have gotten jobs out of this. How do you respond to the company?
Enbridge claims that this is a replacement, it's needed, and all the things that you just said. How is the answer to old leaking pipeline infrastructure that is not needed to build a brand new pipeline in a brand new place through a brand new ecosystem that isn't touched by oil spills and leaks? This oil is not actually even meant for Minnesota. It's not meant for most of the United States. It's actually meant for foreign export. So all it is Enbridge wanting to expand its industry to other places around the world and putting new ecosystems at risk, new places at risk. The answer to, addressing the climate crisis in any responsible manner is not building a new pipeline somewhere else. It's decommissioning the old pipeline, pulling it out of the ground, cleaning up the massive amount of oil that's spilled already from that old pipeline, and moving on into green economy. That's the answer that we're trying to look for. That's the answer that human beings should be looking for. Enbridge is responsible for the first largest spill in U.S. history. That's here in Minnesota. It's responsible for the second largest spill in U.S. history. That's over in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Enbridge has a really bad track record.
The current president, President Biden, one of the things that he ran on was a push towards clean energy and taking action when it comes to climate change. What would you like to see the current administration do? Have you heard from the current administration? And what do you think the options are for this administration?
Yeah, the Army Corps of Engineers actually began consulting way, way late in the game after hundreds of people had been arrested. Then it finally decided it was time to consult with the tribal nations that had been suing against the approval of the project. Biden's administration has been willing to meet, but not willing to do what the law demands, which is immediately suspend the 404 water crossing permits that were issued under Trump. There are obviously not major consent issues here with tribal nations at hand. There are serious environmental concerns that were not considered in the state level environmental impact statement. So we're asking for the same thing that the Standing Rock Sioux Nation asked for under the Obama administration, when it came to Dakota Access Pipeline. We are asking for a full federal environmental impact statement. Same issues, tribal cultural resources, climate change. Those are the issues at hand. And if Biden wants to be the climate president, if he wants to respect Indigenous sovereignty, this project should have been suspended long before it got to this point.
In fact, it's almost sort of the other way around. The project is almost finished. Last week, the Minnesota Supreme Court declined to hear a challenge to the Public Utilities Commission's decision allowing construction on the project to proceed. The pipeline is nearly 90% complete. Are you concerned that time is running out to stop this?
I'm concerned that the presidency is not going to live up to its promises. I'm concerned about our future and concerned about our wild rice. We are actually in a massive, massive drought. All those pictures and videos that you were showing of wildfires, we're in the same boat here in northern Minnesota. That has never happened, as far as I know, as far as my grandparents know. Empty rivers that are just puddles at this point. Forest fire up on the north shore of Lake Superior. Climate crisis is here, and it is happening in real time. And building a brand new tar sands pipeline expansion project in the face of climate crisis is so irresponsible. It is incredibly, incredibly damaging to the environment, and it is incredibly damaging to the relationship between the U.S. government and tribal nations. It's time to change. It's time to do something different. It does not matter if it's 90% complete. Suspend the project, send a message to the fossil fuel industry. We're not going to accept this anymore.
There's a new report from The Intercept. It indicates that there's a close relationship between Enbridge and the Minnesota law enforcement. In one case, a public safety official is said to have passed along a list of people who attended an anti-pipeline organizing meeting. You've spoken about experiencing aggression at the hands of law enforcement at protests. What's your reaction to this report?
It is not shocking in the slightest. I have been personally hit by rubber bullets fired by police officers protecting Enbridge's drill under a river. Those bullets were paid for by the Enbridge company through its public safety escrow trust that's run by the state. So there's collaboration between the state, private industry, and local law enforcement at a level of connectivity that is quite shocking. We see it on the ground where we've got Enbridge employees side by side with county sheriffs, side by side with state troopers, all working together to try to repress and suppress any protest that is associated with the Line 3 project. It has been a open, I don't even know, it's not really a secret, just an open acknowledgement, an open reality that they are working side by side with the Enbridge company, and they are doing everything they can to suppress and silence Indigenous peoples and our allies trying to protect our land.
Tara Houska, thank you so much. We want to note that CBSN did reach out to Enbridge for a statement on the opposition that the company is facing for that pipeline, and we have not heard back. All right. Thank you so much, Tara.